Welcome to the MFR Coaches podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hommel. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. Today, you are going to be treated to a replay of how to sell MFR to anyone in any situation. This was a live webinar that I taught just a couple weeks ago. And I found that it was very valuable for people that attended it live and listened to the replay. I've had a lot of feedback around how quickly people were able to implement the information that I taught and put it right into practice and get a result. So I would like for you all to have that as well. So maybe you missed the webinar, maybe you didn't even know we were doing a webinar. And I'd like for you to be able to take your time, listen to it, and put it into practice. And I also wanted to invite you to join my coaching program. I've decided to keep enrollment open for the rest of the year and get as many people who are ready to join as possible to join us, because we are making some huge, huge moves in our industry. And I just feel like anyone who has access to this program is going to have speed and ease in their business and get fully booked and make the kind of money that keeps you in business long term. And if you decide to join by today, if you're listening to this in real time, today is December 2nd, you will have full access to a live training on website copy with Mish Grixty. So Mish is coming into the program December 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th to teach a website blitz all about writing the best words for your website to attract the best MFR clients into your practice. So this is for you if you already have your website done. This is for you if you haven't even thought about your website. It's really perfect timing for you to either start from scratch or update what you have to make it the best possible, so that when your clients come to your website, there's no confusion about what it is that you offer and how you help them. If you are listening to this not in real time, don't stress out, because this program will become part of my coaching program and you'll be able to listen to the replay. That's what we do in this program. We have a lot of content, a lot of guest speakers. We're always improving upon what we have in the program to make it even better. And that lives in the course portal for you to consume on your own schedule. So enjoy how to sell MFR to anyone in any situation. Have a great week, and I will see you on the next episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. Enjoy. We're moving on to our agenda. Did everybody see this before? We'll go over it really quick. We're going to go over the 3 reasons why you aren't selling MFR. I'm going to teach you 4 strategies that you can implement today. And I fully expect that if you make these 4 implementations in your business, you're going to see a big change in your results. I'm going to talk about my foundations program and open the door for you to join us, answer all of your questions, and also announce a very fun bonus. Okay. So who are you all? You all are trained MFR therapists. You have an amazing skill set that you can use to solve the problems that your clients have. And in this room, you don't have to be careful, because you are all just MFR therapists. We're all alike. You are all therapists that either want to have or already have a business of your own. And that's the common bond that we all have. And there are not a lot of rooms like this in the world where we can enjoy this togetherness together. You are all changing the world by doing MFR, and you are here to learn how to sell MFR on purpose, so you can help more people to get out of pain and live their best lives. And you want a fully booked practice, because businesses need to make money in order to stay in business. You want to have that MFR practice that doesn't require you to overwork or under earn. And you're here because you want to learn how to sell MFR to your clients You're here because you want to figure out what is keeping clients from buying from you right now. You're here because you want to be fully booked and stay fully booked. You're here because you want to feel better when you're selling MFR. You don't want to feel weird or icky or awkward when the session ends and it's time for you to talk about money with your client. You don't want to have that awkward pause in that situation. You're here because you want to make money. And in order to do that, you need to be fully booked and you need to stay fully booked as much as possible. When you are able to get fully booked, you not only make money, but you also help people, which feels great and is the reason why we've spent so much time and money learning the valuable hands-on skills of MFR. Being fully booked starts with your ability to talk about and to sell MFR to anyone in any situation. So who am I? Well, for those of you who don't know me, I am Heather Hommel. I've been the MFR coach for the last 4 years. I help MFR therapists to create financially strong businesses and to feel better in their businesses. I do this by teaching you how to sell MFR, how to price MFR, how to manage the money that you make selling MFR, and how to manage your mind and your emotions that come up and that happen that are just the regular part of being a human and being a human business owner. In my programs, you are one of many successful therapists working towards the same goal, where it's normal to make money and normal for your clients to be getting top-notch, amazing results with MFR. Being a business owner can be very isolating, so I find it to be very necessary to put yourself in places where you can be supported with business skills, business mindset, and the exact steps to take in order to support the specific business that you are trying to create. I'm not just a business coach, I'm also an expert level MFR therapist. I owned a practice for over 10 years. I made all the mistakes multiple times. And it's my mission to never have you or any other MFR therapist ever under-earn or burn out so that MFR eventually becomes mainstream. And I do believe that this is already happening. I truly believe MFR can be and will be everywhere, and it is my mission to ensure that that happens. All right. So your main problem and why you're here today is that you probably think that you are selling MFR. You think selling means asking your client when they want to come back, or when you say book online in your social media posts. And some of you aren't even doing that. Most MFR therapists aren't selling MFR at all. You probably think you're selling MFR when you talk about crosshand releases, the science behind MFR, and when you get really excited about everything you just learned at your last seminar. And you think saying more or comparing and contrasting the differences of MFR to other modalities is selling MFR. You think you're selling MFR, but you're not. You are not selling MFR at all. And this can be for several reasons. One, you believe selling is bad, so you just avoid it altogether. Two, you're selling the wrong thing. Or three, you think the client is the expert. I'm going to just talk about 3 different therapist profiles in the next couple of slides. And I want you to listen closely and see if one of them, or maybe all 3 of them, resonate with you. These all represent the things that I see MFR therapists doing, and they are keeping you from selling MFR. So let's talk about Nowhere Nelly. Nowhere Nelly thinks all of the time, probably unconsciously, I'm not an expert yet. I don't really know what I'm doing. And she feels insecure and like an imposter. And so she likes to wait. She likes to take a lot of seminars hoping that she's going to get confident someday. She procrastinates about it. She procrastinates about her business. She's just hoping to feel confident soon. So, Nowhere Nelly, you're thinking one more seminar will finally unlock your confidence to start your business or to finally start selling MFR. Or if you already have a business, to finally start telling people about it. No one knows you're there to give them MFR because you aren't telling them. You're afraid to talk about MFR, so you'd rather just kind of not talk about it. And you secretly hope no one asks you. You're waiting to feel more confident and comfortable. You think this might take a while. You're waiting to feel like an expert and waiting for your confidence to come. So I want you to be able to go from nowhere Nelly to feeling like you are the expert in the room. And I know that this is possible for you. After today, if you've been behaving like or identifying like nowhere Nelly, you'll see how and where you can shift your self concept towards becoming the expert in the room instead of nowhere Nelly. You'll be on to yourself about your lack of feeling like an expert so you can work towards showing up as the expert in the room each and every treatment. You'll feel confident. You'll start today instead of putting off your confidence until you, I don't know, take another seminar, have someone tell you that you're good enough. Like you'll quit putting that off. So if this is you, keep paying attention because I'm going to give you the solution to go from nowhere Nelly to expert in the room in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about time on the table, Tammy. Time on the table, Tammy. She thinks that people need a lot of options and that she'll get paid more if she has longer sessions. So she doesn't want to give up, those 90-minute or 2-hour sessions. And she also thinks people probably want deals. So they want different price points for all the different time options. There's just so much going on. She feels confused and graspy a lot of the time because people aren't booking even with all of those options available. And she's always offering so many price points, working anytime someone wants a session. Her schedule is wide open because why not? And she feels like she has to accommodate all of her clients' requests. You might be time on the table, Tammy, if you've got a lot of options for clients to choose from and lots of pricing options. So think about what you currently have on your website right now. If I were to peek in there, could I book lots of different treatments, lots of different times? You probably believe your client needs options. So you just provide as many as possible because you're just trying to read their mind and people please. You've made all of these decisions because it's maybe what everybody else is doing. It's just what you've seen. So you tend to model that. And you might think that accommodating any client need or want is important to getting fully booked. So put a 2 in the chat if this is you. If I looked at your website right now and you have more than one option on there, you might be time on the table, Tammy. And that's okay. We've all been there. I am time on the table, Tammy, too. All right. So time on the table, Tammy. Today, you're going to learn what to sell so you can stop selling time on the table and you'll start selling the benefits of MFR. So this means getting really clear on what happens when people get a lot of MFR from you and you learn how to sell the benefits of MFR instead of the time element. And you'll stop believing that options are what clients want, and you'll understand that limited options actually create better results for your clients. You'll clean up what you sell and you'll be clear with your clients, and they won't waste time thinking about which option is right for them. No one really wants to buy time on the table. They might think they do, and you might think that that's what they're buying, but they want to buy results. Okay? So you're going to stop selling time on the table and start selling the benefits of MFR and the results of getting lots of treatment. Now let's talk about leave it up to them, Lena. Lena thinks, I don't want to be pushy. And she also believes it's polite to leave it up to the client to decide what to do next. And she also does not think that she can promise that anyone's going to get better. She feels apprehensive, passive, and scared. And some of the things that you do when you are leave it up to them, Lena, is you ask the client, when do you want to come back? You say things like, you know your body better than me, so you decide what's best. And you just leave it up to the client to be the expert of the treatment plan, even though you're the one that knows what's possible and likely how much time it's going to take for them to get better. You don't want to be salesy or pushy, so you just tell your client to use their best judgment and intuition on when to come back for treatment. After all, they know their body best, right? Only once they leave, you likely never see these clients again. Or worse, they come back so infrequently, they never get the results that are possible, which leads them to believe, unfortunately, things like MFR doesn't really work because it's not going to work in that way. So who's here? If you are leave it up to them, Lena, put a 3 in the chat. I love your melted smiley faces. Yes. right? Lots of people are saying they've been there, they've been stuck here for a while. So I'm so glad that you all are here because not only is this very, very common, this is very easy to fix when you are aware of it. So I'm glad you all are here. So leave it up to them, Lena. How do we solve for her? You're going to learn today how to stop being leave it up to them, Lena, by giving a clear treatment plan that will solve your client's problem. And you're going to learn how to confidently answer questions that your clients have and become unbothered by clients that say no. After today, if you've been leave it up to them, Lena, which we're all guilty of at some point in our careers, you'll start to offer that treatment plan that solves a problem. You'll also learn that unbothered ability to answer questions that clients have and also be willing to ask better questions of your clients. And then when you can do that, it'll be easier for clients to opt in with care. And you'll no longer leave it up to the client to decide what's best. You'll tell them exactly what is possible for them if they work with you and what results that they can expect. All three of these therapist profiles have one thing in common. They lack confidence, they lack direction, and the bottom line is that none of them are selling MFR on purpose. You'll know for sure if you have any of this happening in your business if you aren't fully booked, you do a lot of one-off sessions. There's nothing wrong with one-off sessions, but if you have a majority of one-off sessions where people are not returning, there's a problem that can be solved there. You aren't able to pay yourself regularly is another indication that something's going wrong with selling, or you have to work more hours than you want in order to have just enough money to keep the lights on. So here is the solution to all of this. It's very simple. You need to learn how to sell MFR on purpose. I want you to know that even if you are nowhere Nelly, time on the table Tammy, and leave it up to them, Lena, there is hope. And today's training will be the tip of the iceberg in teaching you how to sell MFR on purpose. When you sell MFR on purpose, you will be the expert in the room. You will learn exactly what to say and how to say it. You'll handle client questions and concerns, and you won't be worried about clients who say no. My coach, Brooke Castillo, I'm reading these slides, you guys, said that in order to increase sales, you have to increase your tolerance for hearing no. As you make more offers on purpose, you will hear no, but you'll also hear yes. And mathematically, the more no's that you're willing to hear from people eventually means more yeses. But you have to be willing to be told no in order to get there. When you make lots of offers to help your clients, you'll sell more MFR than ever, and you will get fully booked. It's a natural byproduct of that. And then you'll eventually stay fully booked, and then you'll notice that your clients get better and better results. The majority of them will get better results even faster too, which is awesome. Okay, let's talk a little bit about my story. You heard me say earlier that I ran my practice, my MFR practice, for over 10 years, and that I'm an expert trained John Barnes MFR therapist. But before I was at the expert level of training, I was a novice, an intermediate, an advanced therapist, and a business owner, a new business owner. Oh yeah, and I was also blonde. So, I had a lot of one-offs, clients, and an inconsistent schedule. I worked nights, I worked weekends to make sure I had enough money to pay for my rent and my expenses. I'd get clients to come for a couple of packages and then they'd decide to stop. And I had no real solution to getting them to stay in treatment. I left it up to them and thought they knew best. And I definitely wasn't going to question them because I wasn't willing to feel uncomfortable. I also felt ill-equipped as a new therapist to even talk about what was possible for clients if they got more treatment closer together. And instead, I scheduled them in a way that would literally take them forever to get better, like just not knowing what I was doing. But that looked like one time a week, one time a month, one time a quarter, right? Whatever worked for them, I made it work for me, even if it was to their detriment, because I just didn't know better. I was also afraid to tell people what was possible for fear of hearing no or for being wrong. And then one day I realized that I wasn't selling MFR because I made selling MFR mean that I was slimy or salesy, and that just felt icky. I felt like I was doing something wrong. And instead of selling MFR, I left it up to the clients to decide what was best for them, which was actually the wrong thing to do. I kept my clients from experiencing the varsity level results that are possible that I would be proud to have my name on because I wasn't selling MFR on purpose. I was too scared to sell it. So, what changed when I started to sell MFR on purpose? I started being completely direct about what was possible for my clients. And even before that, I took the time to figure out what that was. I literally sat down and brainstormed all the results that were possible for my client and everything that I believed about MFR. I got really clear. I started selling them the results of working with me long term instead of focusing on the difference between MFR and whatever other modality they had tried. And instead of selling them lots of treatment time, like 60, 90-minute, and 2-hour options, I focused on what would get them better, more treatment closer together. And when I wasn't confused, neither were my clients, which was kind of amazing. Clients got better results. They got better results faster. I grew my confidence, and fewer clients discharged themselves before they reached the full results because I became the therapist who could ask them the hard questions instead of agreeing with them when they wanted a break or when they wanted to stop prioritizing treatment. And I also grew my ability to hear no and not make it mean anything about me or the client. Clients came for more treatment naturally and stayed in treatment longer naturally because of that. I got fully booked, I made more money, and I had a consistent flow of clients all the time. I got super good at overcoming objections, and I got super good at explaining why MFR worked and what was possible for people who were in pain. And I did this through, and I will stress this, I did this through a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error. A lot. It wasn't just like overnight this happened for me. And I ended up helping hundreds and hundreds of people to change the quality and the experience of their lives because they could solve their chronic and unexplained pain issues with my help. It was totally worth it. Selling MFR on purpose helped me, and it is what I teach and how I help MFR therapists to get fully booked in their practices. This is what I do all of the time now. When you sell MFR on purpose, you change both your business and your life outside of your business. And I want to stress, I know we love our businesses. We love treating our clients in our practices, but we also have a lot of life to live outside of our businesses. And I want you to be able to live your life fully outside of your business. When you sell MFR on purpose, you change both your business and your life outside of your business, and you change the lives of your clients because they get better. They get better, a lot better. They get to experience the full benefits of complete MFR treatment, right? Okay, so now let's talk about the 4 strategies that you are going to be able to implement as soon as we're off this training to sell MFR on purpose. Get fully booked, get clients better outcomes, and make more money in your MFR practice so that you can have that big life outside of your MFR business. This is where you might want to get a pen and paper and get ready to take notes. Okay? We're going to go over how to be the expert in the room even before you're expert level trained in MFR as a therapist. We're going to talk about benefits and results. We're going to answer any client questions with confidence. And we are going to be willing to hear the words no over and over again if we need to. So let's talk about each of these strategies in detail so you know what to focus on when you leave here today. So, strategy number 1, be the expert in the room. So, how can you tell if you aren't already being the expert in the room? So, these are some mile markers to think about while we're going over this. Okay. Who here has experienced any of these things? Go ahead and write a yes in the chat if you've experienced any of these. Here we go. You leave it up to the client to decide the treatment plan, which means you ask them when they want to come back. Put a yes if that's you. You have a lot of one-off sessions and you find it difficult to get clients to return. Put a yes if that's you. Maybe you have experienced this a lot, clients say yes to treatment and then they cancel late or they no-show? Put a yes in the chat. Right. So we've got some yeses. These things are happening. So I'm glad you're here, right? So all that's happening is that you just haven't stepped into expert in the room energy, and you have the opportunity to have awareness around that and start doing it. So how do you become the expert in the room? Being the expert in the room requires that you decide that you know enough right now with the skills you've paid to learn already, right now. This is a decision that you decide to make. Wild. Isn't that wild? I had to walk myself through this too. It doesn't mean you don't still have skills left to learn, but you don't need another seminar. You don't need to wait for that seminar in order to create your own confidence. Your confidence will come by using the skills that you already have and treating a lot of clients in your treatment room over time. And then your willingness to tell your client what you think is possible for them is the other very important detail here. It's as simple as saying, I can help you with that. It's also as simple as understanding the client's problem and the goal almost better than they do, and being able to make a recommendation based on that understanding. So I want you to have, I can treat anyone that walks into the room energy. And in the rare occurrence that you can't help someone, you will remember that you'll know the difference and you will make an awesome referral to someone who can help. Instead of the reverse of that, someone comes in, you panic, and you immediately refer them out, even though you could have helped them. I don't know if anyone has experienced that before, but I am also guilty of that. Inside my program, you learn how to create the confidence around the skills that you currently have to treat your clients right now. And you also get very granular with the problems that you solve for clients so that your words start to flow out of you easier and easier. You work on your own belief in your ability to treat your clients so you truly feel confident speaking to them about what is possible and how long you believe it will take before the client will see a result. You also get very clear on what you believe is possible. So those words and the information you have flows from you easily to your client. And you make it super clear what their problem is and what it will take to see the results that they're coming to you to get. Inside my program, we're able to practice these scenarios and work out any awkwardness you might be experiencing before you put it into action or as you're putting it into action. And I teach you a simple evaluation tool to practice. So as you learn to become an expert at selling and an expert in the room, you can see what's working, what isn't working, and what you're going to do differently next time using that tool. This way, you are never confused about why clients aren't buying from you or what to do next time or what to not do next time as well. And then you can also get direct feedback from me or my coach, Meg, on your evaluation to help fast track and clean things up so you're never confused as you go from one sales conversation to the next. So you're not repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again, simply because you just don't have awareness around the mistakes. So you'll know you've hit expert in the room status when you decide not to wait for the next training or the next thing to give you confidence. You decide to give it to yourself. You tell your client what you know is possible for them, and you understand the client's problem and goal better than they do. And you might be thinking, but how do I do that, Heather? Like, how do I do this, right? You do that by asking really good questions of your client. And then you have I can treat anyone who walks into the room energy, knowing that you trust yourself enough that you can refer out if there is that rare circumstance where you can't treat someone. Okay. This is my client, Tracy Hobby. I've been working with Tracy for a while. She has an amazing business in Virginia. She's the owner of Touch of Wellness Myofascial Release. She is someone who knows how to be the expert in the room. I feel like she's kind of famous in my program for this. She's talked about Bobcat energy. You might have heard her talk about this on podcasts. She's been on my podcast several times. So go and look her up. She's been on many episodes. But she's also famous for becoming her own referral source and her own expert, which requires you to have expert energy. Tracy used to think that it was polite to leave it up to the client to be the expert of their body, and she didn't want to be pushy, and she didn't think that she could promise that they would get better. But once we worked together inside the program, Tracy learned that she could just get really clear on what results were possible for her clients and also how long on average it took for her clients to get those results. And she also got really clear on the types of results that she wanted her name on, which were those completed results where people had come to her for a while and gotten better over time, not someone that just came one time. She wanted her clients to receive varsity level care and get varsity level results. And she truly embodies, I am the expert in the treatment room energy. And because of this, she really can sell MFR to anyone in any situation. Part of her journey was she went from working as a contractor to opening up her own practice and becoming fully booked and creating 10K months in that private MFR business. She was able to leave the contractor position after figuring out that that was actually costing her money to work for somebody else and not in her own practice. And over time, she's taken control of being the expert in the room, worked on expanding her ability to feel uncomfortable while she's grown that confidence to embody expert energy. And Tracy continues to this day to work on growing her capacity to have more confidence in herself and in her business. And her results clearly show over the consistency of being able to be and maintain her fully booked status. Okay, so strategy number 2 is talking about benefits and results. So let's shift into this other strategy now, where most people talk about what MFR is. I want you to start to shift into talking about the benefits and results of MFR. So, what makes selling MFR complicated? These are the things. Talking about the modality of MFR, which is like cross-hand releases, piezoelectric responses, the healing crisis, comparison to other modalities. Once clients are in treatment with you, you'll talk about the modality of MFR sometimes, like as it's appropriate for their understanding. This is what we call a therapy conversation. However, selling MFR is a completely different conversation. It's a sales conversation. And clients need to understand the benefits and results only inside of a sales conversation. So getting really clear on this, like the difference between a therapy conversation and a sales conversation is key, but also getting really clear on what is important for you and your client, right? Which is the results of MFR, the benefits and the results of MFR. So sticking to that. Also being aware that sometimes we just talk too much, and that also makes selling really complicated. So when you catch yourself talking too much out of nervous energy and you feel uncomfortable, so you just want to fill that silence with more talking, catching yourself and allowing for the silence to be there. You say something to your client and then you let them think about it and let them respond. The other thing that makes selling complicated is when you say things that only other MFR therapists can understand to try to convince the client to buy from you or to help yourself feel smarter. Maybe you're kind of like feeling low confidence. So you think, oh, I'm just going to like say more words, piezoelectric or whatever, so I can feel smart in this conversation. I don't know. I do that sometimes. So the other thing too is not saying words like, I can help you with this, which most of the time is all the client really needs you to say. And I would challenge you to start saying that to more people and just see the difference that it makes. The other mistake or the other thing that makes this complicated is you don't clearly or directly talk about the results and what's possible with MFR. You don't say things like, you could be running instead of limping. So they don't even have a chance to consider the difference, that different experience for their life. Let me know in the chat if any of these things sound familiar. Talking too much to fill the space, not saying I can help you with this, talking like you're another MFR therapist. Tell me in the chat if that is happening for you. Nobody's having complicated selling. Leslie says talking too much, LOL. Cass says they all sound familiar. Yes. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm at the right training, helping the right people, you guys. Okay. So let's talk about using this strategy of talking about benefits and results. Simply talk about benefits and results. Like it really is not complicated. And if you remember the slide we just talked about, all the things that make it complicated, but just going back to like, how does this help you? Right? Talk about the benefits and the results with your clients. Explain things in words that your clients already use. Don't explain in words that you know from your education, right? Like range of motion, like don't complicate it with things that people in everyday life would never say. It's normal for us because that's the world we live in, but regular humans don't live in that world. By listening carefully to what your clients say, how they describe their problem, and explaining it back to them almost better than they explained it to you is a key way to connect with your client and to let them know that you understand what their problem is. Imagine going to the doctor and telling them 25 symptoms and they remember all of that and they repeat it back and they're like, I understand that this is your problem. Imagine how seen and heard you would feel. I want you to create that for your client. I also want you to be careful of what you talk about in order to sound smart or what you talk about in a way that you would hear at seminars, right? I've said that before. Clients aren't coming to you for the science, they're coming to you for the results. And they already believe you're smart. You just have to believe that they already believe that. I want you to allow space for silence. Say things, let your client process. And while you'll be tempted to do this, don't fill the space with words. Get really good at allowing space and quiet. It's awkward, but when you practice it, it gets easier. I want you to tell your clients what is possible and remind them that it's possible for them too, not just randos. It's possible for them. They got themselves to you. This is possible for them. And I also want you to say the words, I can help you with this. That will be life-changing for many people that come into your office. When you get really good at talking about what is possible, when your clients get MFR and get lots of MFR, you won't be able to stop yourself from seeing the possibilities everywhere. And then you'll make bolder offers to help your clients because your belief will be matching what you are saying. Inside my programs, I help you to get clear on exactly what is possible for your clients and what you know you can help them with and what you can promise them. You will learn to get specific about what you can help with, how long it will take, and what the timeline and the costs will be, and the confidence to say those things out loud. Inside my program, you'll use the digital workbook to design a custom intake form with the most high-value questions to ask your clients so you can understand their problem and craft a great treatment plan based on that, customized to them. You'll use the Facebook group to brainstorm the benefits of MFR so you're never confused or left to come up with information on your own. Although I fully think that you are all capable of coming up with all of this information on your own when you ask yourself questions and make yourself answer them. So just a caveat to that. Let's talk about what is possible with my client, Sarah Martin. Sarah is the owner of Fire Rainbow Myofascial Release. That's located in San Antonio, Texas. Sarah's a great example of what happens when you tell your clients that you can help them and you tell them what is possible. Sarah was seeing a client weekly, regularly, but this client was still limping every time she left her office. So Sarah was kind of brainstorming, like, is this something that I bring to this client's attention and like offer to help her get even better with? Because it's, the client originally came in with a worse limp, more problems, right? And they'd kind of clear up the problems over time, but she was still limping. And it hadn't occurred to her to just offer more treatment closer together, like a different treatment plan to try to get this limp to go away even better. So what did Sarah do? She offered to the client that she could have a different result, less limping, if they tried more treatment closer together. And to Sarah's joy, the client said yes and has been coming twice a week for months. Her client has reported that she never has felt better in her life. She's limping less, she's more active, and she has less pain. She's reaping the benefits of more MFR and has booked out like into the next year. So this simple shift in Sarah recognizing that something else was possible, talking about the benefits, what was possible for the client, even with a long-term client, has dramatically improved this client's results. Imagine what's possible for your clients when you start to do this too, with new clients, like even from the beginning, but even with existing clients now. It's never too late for where you're at with your client to make a different offer to them, to offer them a different treatment plan, to sell MFR, right? You can literally sell MFR to anyone in any situation, especially when you know what you're doing and why you are doing it. Okay, so strategy number 3 is answering any client questions with confidence. You really want to have this ability to answer client questions with confidence. It makes a huge difference, and it makes a huge difference in what the outcomes that your patients will get. But what happens when client questions throw you off, which is probably where most of you are right now, right? So let's see if this is familiar to you. Let me know. You get annoyed when a client asks you if you take insurance or if they question your rate. You freeze if a client asks you a question. You're not offering a treatment plan right now because you aren't sure what to offer. You rush or you skip over the sales conversation completely. Like you don't even have a sales conversation built into your plan for how you interact with clients. And then the last one is you decide that a client is not a good fit and you write them off if they ask you a question that triggers you just enough. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if any of this is possibly happening to you. I know I just like, if clients would ask me a question, like if I took insurance, I would immediately be like, that person is not for me. No, thank you. Right? It's just a question. It's just a question. Oh, okay. That treatment plan, rushing the sales process, not having a clear treatment plan. Shelly says, yep. Yeah, Stephanie says, I do all of these. Okay, good. Well, we're in the right area, right? Okay, so just reiterating, client questions throw you off right now only because you don't have the tools to handle these questions, right? So you getting annoyed and freezing, not offering a treatment plan, rushing the sales conversation, deciding a client isn't a good fit. The reason all of these questions throw you off is because you just don't know that this is a skill that you can learn and build. And instead of learning how to answer the questions right now, you probably make your website or your booking page responsible for answering patient questions. So you don't have to. So you can avoid feeling uncomfortable, right? And you think it's annoying if your client asks you something that they should have read online. If anybody has that going on, let me know if you get annoyed if someone should have read something on your website before they came in. Oh, that Christy says they question you for not taking tips. That's funny. And Ryan says, I've definitely written off clients that don't feel like a good fit. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes clients aren't a good fit, but I have the motto that I think that with the proper training and support and mind management, you can make any client best fit for you. Wild. Isn't that wild? Okay. So strategy number 3 is answering any client questions with ease and confidence. This is some of my most favorite work. You might have attended another training that I did before called Overcoming Objections. Objections are just questions that clients have. You're just going to answer the question and have ease and confidence when you do it. You'll know you have this down when you answer questions, and it just becomes easier and easier. Here's how to make it easier sooner. Make a running list of all of the common questions your clients tend to have and your answer to those questions, and have it available for you. Don't leave those questions unanswered. Make yourself answer them. Take 5 minutes and do it. Having them written down with your answers is incredibly valuable for you and for your client and for your nervous system. Like imagine having the most triggering questions and your answer right there. Someone asks you it and you're like, hold, please. You refer to your thing. Even if you have to read it to them to keep yourself composed, it's still better than freezing or not having an answer or deciding that you don't want to deal with the client, right? A lot of time we think we're being challenged by the question, like someone, like we're in a duo or a fight with the client, right? And we're not. They just literally want us to help them, and we have to be willing to go all the way. We have to be willing to do the heavy lifting and the work for the client. Here are some of the most common and frequent questions that come up for people. How much is this going to cost? How long is this going to take? Am I actually going to get better? Practice your answers to these. These are the most likely things that are going to come up. So make sure you practice this outside of your client interactions, inside of your client interactions. Come up with a game plan so you'll know what to say ahead of time. And during your sales conversation, after you've treated them outside of the therapy relationship, right? Make sure you've provided a treatment plan with clear details, expectations, the time frame, the cost, and deliver all of that like it is the news. Would you like to schedule next, right? So you're going to tell them all of that and then say, would you like to get on the schedule? The sooner you start answering those client questions, the easier it is to overcome any objection a client has. You will get braver and your clients will get better sooner because they opt in and stay in for treatment. I have an entire training dedicated to overcoming objections so you can hear the most common objections, which are just questions, like I said, that your clients have. And then you learn how to overcome them easily. This takes practice, but instead of getting all worked up and frustrated by client questions, you'll learn how to spot the question, answer it confidently with the truth. And you don't have to be scared to have conversations with clients or be scared to sell MFR on purpose ever, especially when you do some of this work upfront. It's common for MFR therapists inside my program to say that they love selling MFR or that selling MFR is easy. And I think when I hear people say that, I love it the most because if you love selling MFR, if it feels easy, you're going to do it more often and you are going to help more people. And that's just literally the whole goal of having an MFR business. I want you to imagine that that's possible for you because it is. It doesn't take special snowflakes in order to get these outcomes. It's for everyone. It's possible when you learn how to sell MFR on purpose, you learn how to answer any questions, overcome objections. You don't make it a problem when clients say no. It's just the best. Okay. So to recap, you are going to practice answering questions outside of actual client interactions. You're going to invite questions and answer them. When a client asks you a question, I want you to think, I love answering questions. Even if you don't, I want you to trick yourself. I love answering questions until you do. I want you to create time in your process for a real sales conversation after treatment. So if that means looking at how you currently provide treatment and making sure that there is dedicated time outside of their hands-on time, make sure that's available so that you have plenty of time to do this and to do it well. And I want you to work on never deciding that the client isn't best fit for you. You're definitely going to have easier clients, better fit clients, but I want you to challenge yourself to believe that you can help anyone that walks into your room, and the only person that makes the client best fit is you. It's your decision. And then have a real and planned sales conversation for after the treatment, right? I think I said that twice. You're going to create time for the real sales conversation, but I want you to make sure that that's planned and not just an afterthought or something that you're racing to get through ever. Okay. This is my client, Chris Domingo. She's the owner of Shift Mind, Body, Spirit Myofascial Release in California. This is just like a funny share about selling MFR. Chris shared last year that she went on a date via a dating app. And while the date didn't go so well, she used it as an opportunity to talk about and sell MFR. She literally figured she had nothing to lose, like this date was not going anywhere. And she ended up walking away with a referral and made $1,400 from the referral that this guy gave her. She's such a badass. And that sounds way better than a second date, especially when it wasn't going well in the first place. So while in coaching, Chris has gone from having a hobby MFR business, which is totally fine to have when you're having a hobby business on purpose, to being able to grow that into a real business that supported her in leaving her hospital physical therapy job. She is a single mom and responsible for raising her two daughters, and she has made that happen for herself and her daughters by creating this business that is amazing. And now she even has a second location. Chris has made selling MFR so easy, and she really is an example of how to sell MFR to anyone in any situation, even on bad dates. Okay, so strategy number 4 is be willing to hear no. This is probably the most important strategy that you can start working on today. Being willing to hear no and not make it mean anything about you, your client, or MFR. It's a big one. So, when no is scary, before you learn the skill of hearing no, and this is a skill for everyone here, you will make hearing no mean something about you, something about your skill level, something about your client. You'll be judging your client, maybe is not smart enough, not committed enough. Anybody here ever think that about their client? Like, oh, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. They're not committed. You'll have lots of these thoughts about your clients when you think that no is scary. And again, you'll probably write them off as not a best fit client. But remember what I said earlier? You are responsible for making the clients fit best for you. You might spin out. You might make one no mean that everyone else is going to say no to. Everybody is thinking the same thing. And when you hear no, you'll probably stop selling. And this is a good indication that no is a problem for you, right? Welcome to humanness. You probably think that no is only because of your rate and it's not anything that you can control. So when you hear that no from a client, you're like, oh, it's my rate. I got to change my rate. You'll start to focus on that. You'll start to focus on your hours. You'll start to focus on the days of the week that you work, all because someone said no. Put no in the chat if hearing no or having a potential client tell you no is very scary for you. Let's desensitize the word no. Just give me some no's in the chat. Let's know it up. Yeah, everybody is putting no. Okay. Let's talk about no when no is not a problem anymore. Can you all imagine here no not being a problem? I want you to know it's possible. You might be thinking that this feels impossible, though, that no has a lot of meaning and it feels terrible when you hear it. And I just want you to know that with practice, you can increase your tolerance level to hearing no. And this can happen very, very quickly when you decide to do it on purpose. But you have to do that. You have to decide to do this on purpose. It won't just happen for you in some sort of bubble or vacuum. You have to be like, guess what? We're going to practice hearing no, and I'm going to get rejected on purpose just to grow my capacity for it, right? Sounds terrible, but inside my program, we do this all of the time. We have several ways to help you increase your tolerance to hearing no. We discuss this a lot because it's one of the most important skills that you can develop. Just like I said with overcoming objections, right? No, and the rejection tolerance is so important. Over time, hearing no can just become part of business and not feel so incredibly personal. When you increase your tolerance to no, you'll use hearing no as a tool for you instead of against you. You'll evaluate the no interactions and learn how to turn them into yeses next time with the next person. Inside the program, you'll ask for help and assistance when no comes up. When you feel triggered, you won't spin out when someone says no. You'll go to work, which is really fun. You'll look for what is working and you'll stop doing what isn't working sooner. And you'll keep selling MFR. You'll keep improving with each and every offer you make, even when you hear no, because you're doing it on purpose. You're not just hoping it works out. And I also want you to remember that 100% of your clients will pay your rate, whatever it is. And I've got a dedicated training called Raise Your Rate Bootcamp where you'll learn how to set your rate perfectly for you and your business where you are and how to fall in love with it. So you never make your rate the reason why a client is saying no. And I want to be super clear on this. The no is never about your rate, even when the client says it is. It's just a matter of being able to explain the value of the results that the client is buying in a way that they can understand. Okay, this is my client, Rachel Pecora. Rachel is the owner of Northeast Ohio Myofascial Release, and then she's also the creator of a program called MFR Emails. Some of you might have heard from her. Rachel shared a story in our foundation's Facebook group, and I want you to listen to what she wrote. She says, I'm adding a bead to my barf jar. This is something we teach you inside the program because today I called back a potential client who was nearly in tears from pain and went through scheduling an appointment. I'm booked out for a few weeks, but we decided on a time. And when it came to prepay the appointment, she then wanted to talk to her husband. I heard Heather Hommel come out of my mouth and I asked, what do you think your husband would say? Would he be excited for you? And I couldn't believe that I said that. All in all, the client ended up prepaying for appointment, getting treated, and getting better. And Rachel was able to help this client. She risked hearing no. She risked the rejection from asking a question to the client in order to hear yes. She could have been like, oh, well, call me back, right? And never heard from the client again. What ended up happening was the client became unsure if she would be able to help her, if buying this felt like too much of a commitment because she didn't know if it was going to work, right? Rachel was able to walk her through that. Rachel is an example of what is possible when you are willing to hear no, when you're willing to risk rejection, when you're willing to say the thing in order to help the client get what they actually wanted. And more, we hear reports of clients doing this, of my therapists that are in my program saying this to their clients, asking these questions and just risking the worst thing that could happen, which would be they say no. Okay, so let's recap. In order to sell MFR to anyone in any situation, you're going to need to be the expert in the room on purpose. You got to make a decision that you are that. You're going to talk about the benefits and the results of MFR, not the modality of MFR. You're going to answer any client questions with ease and confidence and learn how to grow that ease and confidence. And you're going to be willing to hear no. You're going to be willing to feel rejected. You're going to be like Tracy Hobby and embody, I am an MFR therapist and I can help anyone who walks in my door. You're going to stick to what's possible for your clients like Sarah Martin and remember to answer client questions with the confidence that Chris had on her date. And she obviously got a great referral on that date, right? And then I want you to not get discouraged or freeze if clients ask you questions or if they need to talk to their husbands. Be like Rachel and ask a great question to help the client get on your books. Practice ahead of time so you've got the answers to the most common questions your clients are asking, which are going to be time, cost, results. Get help doing this so you can do it faster and easier. And really consider putting yourself in a room where you can develop and learn business skills and spend just as much time and effort learning those skills of selling MFR and ensuring that your business will stay in business as you do in the efforting to learn and maintain your hands-on skills. You might be thinking, all of this sounds super easy. Why is it so hard for me to sell MFR? Why am I having a problem selling MFR? You might wonder, can I even do this? Can I really do this? Maybe you're really busy and you're thinking, I don't have the time to learn these things. But I want you to know that yes, you can. All of this selling MFR is a skill like any other skill you've learned in your entire life. It's just one that you have to decide to learn on purpose and quit leaving it up to the universe. Quit leaving it up for one more thing to happen before you take the time to do it. You decide you want to learn it and you go to the source of the learning. That's why you're here, right? And the source of this learning and this specificity is MFR business skills, which you learn inside my program, the MFR Coaches 12-month foundation coaching program. This is designed from the ground up to help you with all the skills related to having a fully booked MFR practice, where you never under-earn or burn out, and you help make MFR mainstream. My team's going to drop links for you if you're interested in joining, and I'm going to go through the whole program too. So keep listening. I'm going to tell you all the things that are included in the program and including some exciting new things that we have coming up. So this is the place where you learn how to price MFR, sell MFR with ease, and get and stay fully booked. Most MFR therapists have set rates based on what someone else said they should charge or based on what was comfy. And unfortunately, this will lead to overworking and under-earning. 1 + 2 does equal 3. You've got to price your services, sell your services, and then get fully booked. When you know how to get and stay fully booked, you will have a business that supports itself and also pays you a hefty salary. You don't just need to survive, you can thrive as an MFR therapist, even if you live in a tiny town. And I have lots of therapists that are doing it. I did it in a tiny town as well. Here's everything that's included in the program. It's a 12-month long program. You get weekly live coaching calls for the entire year, every Tuesday. You get access to my course portal that has been newly redesigned, has 8 self-paced modules. So you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and where to do it, and where you're at in your business. So if you've had a business for years, you'll be able to refer to the course portal and fill in the gaps of the things that maybe you're missing. But also, if you're starting a business from scratch, you'll be able to start it from scratch using the course portal. We also have a private and exclusive Facebook group that is optional for you to join. You don't have to join it if you don't want to, but inside that Facebook group, you have access to almost immediate coaching. Myself, my co-coach Meg are in there all the time. We have an answer every question policy. So we are in there always looking for whoever needs help and answering those questions right away, providing coaching, providing support right away. We also offer private coaching. And I don't know if Meg, if you want to introduce yourself, we do weekly reports where you will get an email link. I'll show you those in a second. You'll fill out the reports, very simple. If you're not open yet, you just check a box that says you're not open yet. And then it will pop you down to a section where you can submit private coaching. So just written coaching. You send us a little note, and then either myself or Meg will send you a note back. And you can keep things private if you want to, as an option. Meg, you want to introduce yourself really quick?
I'll just say hi, everyone. It is my privilege and joy to be co-coach of this program. And I love doing both the private coaching and coaching folks in the Facebook group. And then I sub for Heather some weeks too, doing the live coaching on Tuesday mornings. And I just really love being in this community of MFR therapists. I'm not an MFR therapist, but I've coached them for years now, and just really supportive of everybody and love to see you thrive.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So in addition to the private coaching, we also have a private podcast. So I don't know how many of you here are familiar with my regular podcast. If you've never listened to it before, it's called the MFR Coaches Podcast. That is a public podcast. I offer a private podcast for members inside the group, which is a compilation of all of the recordings of our weekly calls, any training, any other additional training we do, any pop-up we do, those also live on the private podcast feed. And then we have a lot of bonuses. So through the weekly reports, we gather a lot of information from you and we tally your income, and you get a little email back that says you've reported blank amount of income in the last 30 days or since you started the program. What happens is if you hit a 10K month or a 10K over a 30-day rolling period, you get invited to an additional coaching call every quarter, which is great. We talk about things that are happening at that level, any stresses, what happens after you get fully booked, all of those things. We also offer new trainings pretty much monthly, sometimes more often. And then we have a brand new live website training that's going to be happening in December. I'm going to tell you a little more about that on the next slide. So, like I said, we have this exclusive 4-day website training coming in December 2nd through 5th. Mish Grixty, she's from Tasmania. She is a copywriting coach who I've been working with for the last 4 years. She's coached in this program before a long time ago. She's done a training before. She's awesome. She is going to be coming in to teach you all that are members of the program expert level copywriting for your MFR website specific to MFR therapists. The live coaching is going to happen December 2nd through 5th. You will walk away with all of the copy for your website and 2 wireframe website designs, which you can copy and paste that copy into that. And then let's say if you don't want to design your website, you'd be able to hand that off to your assistant or to somebody that you hire to do work for you to complete the website for you. And it would be done exactly how you want it, which will save you a ton of time and a ton of money. So this is all provided for you. I pay for this. This is no additional charge to anyone that's in the group. And this is for both therapists who already have a website and those that do not. You're going to be able to improve what your website says so that you can have a higher conversion rate, get clients to book now, and make sure that they understand what you do. You're going to be able to explain MFR, convert clients, and get rid of phrases on your website that say gentle sustained pressure, which I will love to see that improvement. Okay. So what does the live weekly coaching look like? What is it like? We meet on Zoom, 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, Central Time Zone. We record it so you have access to the replay video as well as the audio in the private podcast feed. All of the calls are interactive. They're fun. The coaching is relevant to you no matter if you're brand new or you've been in business for a while. I've got people in this program that have been coaching with me for years that still love to come to these weekly coaching calls and still find value in each and every call. The cool thing is that these are all MFR therapists building MFR businesses with MFR people problems. So all of the coaching is relevant and relative to your business because of that. No matter where you're at, you can make the coaching relevant to you. What is the course portal like? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's very easy to navigate. We have an app that you can download on your phone or you can access it through your computer. And this is kind of what it looks like behind the scenes. This is our module 1, which is our MFR therapist identity. Each module has lots of trainings inside the module. We have 8 modules. So it's a very well-developed and well planned out, thought out course. It's been reorganized, rebranded, edited most recently to be as concise as possible. And it will track what you do so you can kind of understand what you've viewed and what you haven't viewed as you go. And then you can consume the content at your own pace and revisit the modules as you need. Modules are kind of like MFR seminars. You can repeat them as many times as you'd like, and you'll learn something new every time you do it. I often refer people back to our module on belief. We have the belief triad at the top of this slide. Belief in yourself, belief in MFR working, and belief in your client are 3 of the most extensively used trainings in my program. And time again, the clients that have been with me the most probably use those the most often, because if you lose your belief in yourself, lose your belief in MFR working, or lose your belief in your client at any point, it makes selling difficult. But you can go back and kind of get yourself back on track the moment you find that you've wavered in your belief. What happens inside the Facebook group? It's optional to join. First of all, I know some people don't like social media, so there's never any pressure to join. We'll just ask if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. But when you decide to join this exclusive group, you have access to frequent feedback and coaching on any topic you bring in related to getting fully booked in your MFR business. It's a very active group, and we have a policy of answering every question that gets asked, so you never have to spin out alone or spin out for too long. And we have that policy of answering 100% of the questions asked. So if you post and you tag me or Meg within 24 to 48 hours, and usually sooner, you are getting an answer. We love questions. We love coaching. We love seeing everyone celebrating. We love seeing the evaluations. And we love seeing people who are able to quickly move forward and continue on. So nobody is staying stuck, which is awesome. Once you become a member, you can download our digital fully booked workbook. We just completed a redesign of the workbook, and it now matches with the portal. So it's even easier to use and work through both the workbook and the modules together. And a bonus for those of you who are here today, for those of you who decide to join between now and December 10th at noon, I'm going to ship you a hard copy of the Get Fully Booked workbook, so you can have those worksheets in hand for an even better experience. This is over $100 value for free just for enrolling by noon on November 10th. You will get that workbook delivered to your door. And I think I'm very proud of this. We just completed the rebrand of this and the detailing of this yesterday. So for anyone who's currently in the program, we're going to have this up in the portal by next week. So hang on, we're getting it in there for you. Here's what the weekly reports look like. You might be wondering, what is a weekly report? Here's kind of what it looks like. You'll get an email, you'll fill it out. The thing on the right there of your screen is the actual form. And then you'll use the form to also create that private coaching situation where you can just submit in there what is going on with you if you don't want anyone to know about it. And either myself or Meg will respond to you. And oftentimes It's not something that has to be private. So we'll be like, and then if you want more help, take this to the Facebook group. But you can literally ask us a private coaching question every single week that you turn in your report. There's no limit to it, which is awesome. And then the other thing I want to point out is we collect a lot of data on those reports. The data is private to me and Meg. We don't share it with everybody. But what you do is you report in if you're fully booked, how much money you made the last week, how many clients you saw, all of those things. And then we use that to tabulate when you hit 10K, and then we can invite you to those bonus calls. And also to just keep a running total of how much cash has been collected by MFR therapists inside this program, because I think that results matter. And I want to have the data set to show you that this program works. 85 students out of 100 have made their money back already, and some have only been in the program for a short period of time. MFR therapists inside the program as of October 27th had collected $4,702,481 in MFR sales. That's just the people in the program. It's wild. And not even everybody submits. So this number is probably off by a lot. It should be higher, is what I'm saying. So I'm just so proud that people in this program in the last year have collected over $4 million in sales. I just think it's so badass. Some of the intangibles of being in the group are the friendships and the connections that last a lifetime. I want you to imagine having built-in support when you get on the call, when you walk into the Facebook group, when you attend a seminar. You get access to all of these people, and they're amazing, and they'll be your friends for life. And this also unlocks another level of referral and recommendations from people all over the country and into Canada who get to know you personally. So we'll talk about how much it costs to join. The cost to join this 12-month program with everything in it is $3,000. We make it easy by giving you the option to make 6 payments of $500 with no additional fees. And when you join by November 10th, I will print out and mail you the Get Fully Booked workbook, which will save you $100. Again, if you decide to join after the 10th, you will still have access to the workbook. It'll just be digital for you. And then I know you guys all want one of those t-shirts, and you're jealous of everybody on the screen that has the t-shirt. So I'll be sending t-shirts to everyone that's new in the program while supplies last. Okay. So just to recap, everything that's included: live calls every week, the coaching course portal, the Facebook community, private coaching feedback, private podcast, the 10K bonus calls, monthly new trainings, the website training that's coming in December. And we also offer exclusive discounts. So you'll have to find out what those are when you join, but some of them include discounts on the MFR directory. MFR emails has a discount for you, and we've got much more. And don't forget that when you join, you become a member of the best community of MFR therapists who will become your friends for life. And I just treasure all of the people that I have coached and all of the businesses that I have worked with to date. It is just an honor and a privilege to be involved with MFR therapists and to be your coach. Thanks for tuning in today. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to remind you that my Foundations program is still open for enrollment, and we're keeping the doors open until every spot is filled. I get that life's been extra busy lately between the election, family, holidays, everything else we juggle as entrepreneurs. It can be easy to put your goals on the back burner. As a mom of 3 and a business owner, I totally get it. I see you. But here's the thing. If you're ready to get fully booked in 2025, to turn those valuable myofascial release skills into a true revenue generating practice, there's no better time to start. The Foundations program is 12 months of support designed to help MFR therapists just like you reach their fullest potential. This program is specifically crafted for those of you who want to move beyond trading hours for dollars and build a practice that truly supports your life goals. We're talking about a step-by-step path to get booked out and fully realize the business potential of the training you've already invested in. And for those of you who've been in business for years, when you join, we will adjust the business you already have to ensure you aren't under-earning and are getting the most out of your business by making it even easier to save you time and generate more money. You'll get weekly support, accountability, and proven strategies to help you succeed. And I'm sending all enrollees a little extra thank you gift, so you'll be set up with everything you need. The investment is $3,000 for the entire year. That's for 12 months of support, resources, and growth opportunities, and the best community. I can't wait to support you and watch your practice flourish. So if you've been hesitating, let this be your sign. Join us now, and let's get you on the path to a fully booked and thriving 2025. Go to www.themfrcoach.com/foundation for all the details and to enroll now. We'll see you there. All right. Anybody have any questions come up? Anybody have questions on the training? Any confusion on how to sell MFR, what to work on? Meg, did you have something?
Well, I was just going to say, I would be really curious to hear from folks, like what their takeaway is today. Like, what are they taking away from your presentation that they're like, I'm going to start doing this?
Yeah.
Just be curious to know.
You can put it in the chat if you don't want to talk out loud, but maybe, something you learned today that was new to you, or something you're going to implement when you get off of the call. I am hoping you all are going to start selling MFR. You're not going to be a nowhere Nelly, not going to be time on the table Tammy. Okay, Leslie says, thank you, Heather. It's so good for me to revisit all of this and to hear what lands differently. There are definitely some aha moments of things I need to tweak. To answer Meg's question, being willing to hear, know, and what to do with that. Yes, perfect. Now, I think this is very interesting coming from Leslie. I hope Leslie doesn't mind me sharing this, but Leslie has been in coaching before. Do you want to maybe speak to your experience of seeing this information, like even after have had coaching on your business? She's not in coaching right now.
Sure. No, it was really good. And like I knew nothing would be something that's radically new to me, but I'm like, I want to listen and hear what lands differently. And because what lands differently tells me like, there might be a blind spot, or that's what I need to work on. But for example, would you rather run than walk? Is that what you said? Like you could be running instead of limping.
Yeah.
Like I've never been that direct with a client, and I've been direct with them. And I will ask them, so what do you think? Are you in? Do you want to come back? And they're like, can I come in once a month? You're not going to get the results, whatever. But I'm like, that's really direct. That's a really good picture to paint there. But I think for me, what I really heard for myself was being able to explain even more clearly the benefits and what is possible. And then being able to hear the no without like, okay, thanks, bye. I mean, I tend to not do that. I am talkative with my clients, but without the freeze kicking in or the over talking, but the allowing for the silence. And I am like, oh my gosh, the opportunity with Mish, that's really amazing. Like, oh.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it.
She's really great. I was in before when she did a couple sessions with us, and yeah, she's great. That's really good. So I hope that was clear what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's good for me too, because I do think that hearing material over and over again is good for us. I think that's why we all love like taking seminars so many times, because when you're not hearing it new for the first time, you're a little bit less spun out while you're absorbing the material and you hear it in a different way. And I think the same thing for all of us when we're running businesses. It can be overwhelming. We can think that we need to focus on one area and put all of our attention there, only to find out like that's not actually how we are going to create clients. That's not actually how we're going to create money. And then we've spent all this time and money on something that didn't work. So really having direct information on what works and guidance to what works, what doesn't work, what to spend your time on, what not to spend your time on, how to solve problems quickly. It just helps you to help your clients better and more directly. And that's really the whole point of all of the programs that I've ever developed for MFR therapists, because the more time you can spend in the treatment room and the easier your business is, I don't know. I just think that's like the chef's kiss of everything, everything in this business. So yeah.
Can I add one more thing real quick to support what you said? So when I first started coaching with you, and you even have more resources now, and I wasn't so busy, I listened and read over and over and over because I was someone that I needed that repetition. It didn't sink in until I had the repetition over and over. And then slowly, like the foundation was built. So I would say absolutely what you have structured calls old calls that you can listen to, and as well as the learning stuff. I don't have words today, y'all. The portal,
the course portal.
Thank you. Really good stuff there, really solid. And I was able to build a foundation with it. And yeah. And so if you need the repetition, then it's there.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing your experience. Appreciate it so much.
Well, I was just going to say, kind of building off of Leslie, I think what I hear from a lot of folks, especially when they first join the program, is being able to listen to other people getting coached, whether it's on the recordings or on the live calls, is so helpful, right? Because you're not just processing your own personal experience with your clients, but you're getting to learn from everyone's experience with all of their clients. And so you start hearing the ways that they deal with the questions that clients bring up, or the ways that they unfreeze themselves, those kind of things. So it's just so helpful to be in a room with 50 or 100 people who are all MFR therapists that you can learn from. It's just so powerful.
Yeah. Very much so. And I think too, being with your colleagues in a way where you have access to them all the time, really like that once a week, we're all together, but then through the Facebook group, just knowing that you're literally one post away from getting the best, cleanest support possible. When you have a coach supporting you, when you have a business question, it's different than having a friend do it, it's nice to have the colleague support one, but it's different to have a coach brain come in and help you with whatever the problem is, because we delete all of the drama. And so we just solve problems, which is kind of amazing and a really good use of your time and resources. We don't spin out. Yes, we do, because we're human, but also we teach you the tools so that you spend less time having to recover when something dramatic happens and more time treating clients and not having to recover from the spin out. Yeah. Jenny, I'm so glad you made it here. I think we had an interaction on Facebook about links, so I'm glad to see you here. All right. Anybody have any questions? You can ask me anything. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I just really want to answer your questions if you have them. If you have any hesitation to joining, if you want to let me know what that would be, I'd be happy to go over that. There's nothing, you can't really shock me. You could try, but... Cass is saying, I'm really affected by you saying living a fuller life, also what is possible. You want to tell me a little more about that?
So I just look at my business, and I've been in business for years, and it's always just kind of been getting by. So listening to all of this, I'm like, oh, I see myself there, and I see myself there, and I see myself there. And Donna Height, she is a wonderful, tremendous therapist, and she's a good friend of mine. And we were talking, and I was talking with another therapist, and really, I was listening to your podcast the other day, and it was the podcast on what's the cost of what you're avoiding or whatever. Mm-hmm. And just that idea of a fuller life. And I thought, gosh, my life is so, I go to work. So I talk to my clients, and then I go home and I talk to my husband, and that's it. I mean, obviously if I go shopping, I'm, talk to the clerk at the store, but I just thought, I used to have this life, and I don't need to go out and do and whatever all the time. But like the question was posed to me, well, what's a fuller life look like? And I thought, I want to take a guilt-free vacation where I don't work the morning that we leave, and I don't go back to work the day after we get home.
Yes. I want you to have that.
I want to be able to just not be frustrated, like and this is hard for me to share all this, but I don't want to be frustrated like every week going, gosh, I just made enough to make sure my bills are paid. And, and my husband is super supportive, and I've taken all of the courses, all the MFR courses, and he's been very supportive in that. But it's like, we have this conversation all the time, and it's not always just a conversation, but where's the return on that? Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm really apprehensive because, it is a commitment, but I'm like, I just really want this to be successful because I enjoy what I do, and I just be successful. So I'm just going forward. And Donna just told me, don't hope, just do, and it'll be there. And, talk to yourself and say it out loud. So here I am.
Great. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Is there anything that would keep you from joining the program? Like any questions you have about will it work for you or anything like that?
No, because I actually really talked to Donna quite a bit, just to really, because she's a no BS person. Like if
I know, I
anybody
love Donna.
Donna, she'll just tell you straight up.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that about her. So I really just asked, like, give me your experiences, because at the end of it, I'm not even at the end of it. I want to make sure that and she just said, this is my experience. And any of the other questions that I had, because she did your one-on-one, she did your 3 months, she's done your year. And
Yep,
she
she's
shared
been in my mastermind too.
exactly.
She's
She
been
shared
everywhere.
her experiences. And I think that really answered the questions of, will the program work for me?
Mhm.
And I
Great.
go into it knowing that you're not giving like this is exactly what you do for this. And this is, you
Yeah.
have to do a fair amount of work with yourself. And so I understand that. But no,
Yeah.
she really did answer those questions for me. So I don't have a reservation other than I'm just kind of nervous because I
Well,
really,
what are you nervous about? Like it not working or?
what I'm nervous about is, to take seminars is a huge financial commitment.
Yeah.
And I have a business degree. I have a business degree. The real root of it comes down to, where's the return on investment?
Mhm.
And I don't feel like I've had the return on investment. And that's frustrating for me.
But only because you don't know how to sell it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where I come in specifically, is so that you can figure out, because let's just face it, people that want to be doing therapy with people don't really want to be salespeople, right? Like we aren't really cut out to be business people, even if we have business degrees. We have to choose to do that on purpose. And it's a completely different skill set than our hands-on skills that we've invested heavily in. So like while you have the tools right here, you might not ever get to use them if you don't also learn how to talk about it and sell it and learn how to price it properly and like learn all of the business skills that are needed.
And that's,
Right.
and that's part of it too, is like,
Mhm.
I look at it and it's like my website's, it's not really effective, but that's not my wheelhouse to do that.
Mhm.
And then, I look at these things that I have, it's like, well, because I see the weakness on the business side. Like
Mhm.
that is not my wheelhouse. It's
Yeah,
never
but
my
it can
wheelhouse.
be, is what I want
True,
to offer to you.
true.
And it can
And
be very quickly. It can build very quickly. And I think I'll just use Leslie as an example. When we first started working together, she was kind of like, I'm trying to remember back to like you weren't fully booked yet, but you'd been in business for a while, a little bit, and you were struggling with selling it, struggling with getting fully booked, all of those things. And I think what ends up happening when you're in the program is you can see all the blind spots. You can see, like, for instance, you brought up your website. I have people that have hit 100K with no website. So I just want you to know, like, you don't even have to have a website, but you do have to have very specific things set up so people can find you. And I will tell you what those are. The work you'll do on your own or inside yourself, the internal work, will be those things, like the thoughts you have about yourself, like getting awareness around how you think about yourself as a business owner, as an MFR therapist, and the thoughts you have about your clients too, because all of that stuff affects the result that you currently have. Like what you're thinking about now is creating the result, every result you have in your life right now, at life and business. So I'll teach you how to figure that out. Step one, you learn that tool, and then you can apply that to your business and your life. And it becomes very fun. You'll want to coach everyone. We'll ask you not to. And you'll all of a sudden, like, things will just be easier because you will have learned how to delete so much drama. Like, I didn't even know. I mean, I'm a very dramatic person still, but I didn't even know how dramatic I was until I learned how to delete drama from like every decision I was making and how much time it was taking for me to make decisions. And I believe that you can get your return on investment within 90 days. And then everything that you make after that is more and more and more money. So that's why I price it that way. That is why I offer what I offer, because I don't want anyone taking a whole year to make $3,000. Like, it should not take you a year to make $3,000. And $3,000, like $3,000 months, should be, maybe that's what you come in making, but that's not the normal. Like, you learn how to make much more than that, regardless of what you charge.
thank you.
Yeah, happy to help. Deborah, do you have any questions or any comments?
Well, so I've been kind of on the periphery of all of this, waiting for my chance to dive in. So at present, I think I've listened since April to all of your 200 plus podcasts. on Spotify.
That's amazing.
I've connected with my group locally. I've been treated by Zeddy.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. Are you in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. Yep. I'm in the Fox Valley, so just south
Okay.
of Green Bay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to dive in. At present, I don't have my business open yet,
Mhm.
but this is my accountability. So
Yeah.
I'm going to stop waiting for it to happen. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to wait for it to grow.
Awesome. And you might not have to wait very long, because I have a lot of people that join before they open their practice, and then they can open to fully booked.
Right. Okay. I'm ready.
There's no reason why you can't,
Right. Yeah.
especially
So-
when you do it on purpose. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So here I am.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome.
No questions? I'm not yet anyway. I'm sure I'll have plenty.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be glad to have you. That's very, very, very exciting. Thank you so
Thank-
much. Thanks for
thank
being
you.
here. Jenny or Chris, do either of you have any questions or any feedback, any concerns? Would love to talk to you while you guys are still on the call. Don't always get to have calls that are this intimate, so it's really fun to meet you all.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, I forgot her last name, but like the speaker who just mentioned, I'm kind of like in the same boat. Like, so like I'm a physical therapist, been working conventional therapy for 11 years now. And like, it's not fun anymore. There's many other ways we could dive into it, but like,
Yeah.
I'm really kind of tired of that. And like, I've been around MFR for a while. So like, I'm really looking at trying to shift away from just the conventional where like, I mean, anymore, you see 2-3 patients at a time, and that's what it is. And I mean, admittedly, it's not great therapy. Like it's not, and I'm really tired of doing that. So being able to get away from that, but then also so much of what like holds me back is just the kind of the fear of, can I pay my bills? Will it be success? Like all that sort of stuff really plays into it. So I'm just like, and I get frozen by that. So
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's very normal experience. And I want you to know that when you're in the program, you are not alone, like with exactly where you're at. And then also you can see other people exactly where you are. And then the people that have actually left their full-time, high-paying PT jobs and opened their own practices successfully, paying their own bills, making more money than they were in their PT job, paying for their health insurance, like affording their lives in their MFR practice. So I just want you to know that that's completely possible for you. And people are doing it all of the time. Lots and lots of examples of people that are doing that. And they make it look easy. It's just wild how easy it becomes, especially when you're in a room and it's like normal for people to be doing that. So it's okay to be afraid, and you can still do it.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited for you. I think,
thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a goal on when you want to leave your traditional practice?
Like as soon as possible. I mean, it's long-term care, what I'm doing right now.
Yep.
So like, I mean, I've been at this location for 8 years, and just like the overall direction of long-term care is not great. And kind of the direction of the company that I'm going in just has me concerned. So yeah, within a couple months, I'd love to be able to move away from that.
Amazing. Yeah. I'd love to set you up with a plan and a clear path to making that happen for you. And I think it would start with you going through the Raise Your Rate Bootcamp curriculum, figuring out all of the data points for that, all of your facts and data, and then just moving on from there. But I think that's going to be a good place for you to start.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's called Raise Your Rate Bootcamp, but even more and more, we need to call it Set Your Rate Bootcamp for people that don't have a business yet, but just in your mind, be like, this is Set Your Rate Bootcamp. So yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. Fun to meet you.
Yeah. Good to meet you too.
Awesome. I'm going to ask Jenny, do you have any questions, or it's nice to meet everybody while we're on the call.
No questions, but same, like Deborah hit a lot of points. Like I listen to all the podcasts. So I'm a pediatric PT.
Yeah.
And so I've incorporated MFR in that. And so, but I feel like I can't separate that. But I feel like all your business aspects and all that kind of resonate with me. So it's I don't know if I'm like at the right spot to jump in because I know everyone's MFR and I'd
Mhm.
love to do that. And like me working on big people is scary, but I know
Yeah.
that the moms would benefit so much from it. So
Yeah.
pulling that into, I like feel like that retention of keeping the same patients, right? So that's easier than
Mhm.
new patients. So it's like, oh, I treated your baby. Now let me treat you. And then we can do it
Yeah.
together. I think that's in my head.
Yeah.
The work,
Is your concern that you're not MFR enough to be in this program?
maybe not, like maybe a little hesitant in
Yeah.
that aspect.
Yeah, well, I want you to know one thing is like, I'm never going to tell you that you have to quit practicing how you're practicing in order to have a better business, or that like MFR businesses are better than other businesses. Because while a lot of the language is like MFR only, everything we teach you can apply to the business that you currently have. Like everything translates. So you can just filter it like, okay, I offer MFR, like I have MFR training, but I'm a pediatric PT. Like you're not ever going to have to stop being a pediatric PT to fit in this program is what I'm saying.
Right.
So, because we have other people that also offer like manual lymph drainage. We have other people that are acupuncturists as well as MFR, and they're doing both. I think you need to be able to decide for yourself what kind of business you want to run. And I'm not going to tell you that having an MFR only business is the only path for you. I think it works for a lot of people, but there also is the option for you to do pediatric PT and also offer MFR. I think what I would help you with is your offer suite. Like, what are your offers, and getting those very, very clean and clear. We're going to boil it down to like 1 hour time period that people buy, or maybe it's 30 minutes because it's pediatrics or whatever, and making that work for you for whatever kind of treatment that you're going to be giving, so that you don't have a million offers and a million options for people to opt into, which will leave your schedule not fully booked most of the time and also cause you to earn less money. So, yeah. So that's what I would help you with off the bat. Are you in private practice for yourself?
Yes, private practice myself. I actually just purchased an office. So
Amazing. Okay.
it's a little scary because I'm like, I need to fill my schedule more. Like,
Yeah.
great schedule. I do two
Yeah.
kind of different jobs, like my private practice, and then I go do evals for
Mhm.
that I'm not gonna say, but it's easy money. So that's scary to like think to walk away from that.
Yeah.
And so I bought this building or office. And so
Yeah.
I have to like make some bigger moves. I'm not really nervous about it, but it's like I just know things have to change a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I would love to help you with all of those decisions and getting clear and clean on what that looks like, so you don't spend money on things you don't need. The thing that makes me the most sad is when I find out people have spent like $10,000 to $20,000 on advertising that they didn't need, when really it was an offer problem or a sales problem.
Mhm.
So like, let me help you save money.
All about saving money.
Yeah. But no matter where you are with your practice, we can clean it up, improve it, and make sure like going forward that you get fully booked as soon as possible. Cause I'm assuming that's like your next thing is just to create fully booked.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's the same problem no matter what kind of business you have.
Right. And that's what I keep telling myself. It's all the business components that I'm looking for.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that I'm with my clientele, whatever, like it all makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. And is your hesitation like paying for it and like not having the money to pay for it because you're like leveraged?
No,
Okay. Good. Okay.
I just, same thing, rate of return. Like you just want to make sure that, because I've paid for other things in the past and it's like, I'm not really sure that was the best choice I made, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. I strive to have all of the clients across the finish line and get it doesn't do me any favors for people to not get fully booked or for people to not make their money back. There's nothing in that for me. So we are very hands-on in this program.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. And so, all right. Appreciate you guys so much. It's been so fun to talk to you all today and to get to know you and to do the training. I hope you all have a great weekend. My son's home from college. I haven't seen him since August. So I'm going to go give him the biggest hug, and I will see you all later. Bye. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute and rate and review the podcast. I appreciate it.
For more information, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The MFR Coach. And check out my website, www.themfrcoach.com, for more information. If you are currently not working 20 hours or less and making 6 figures in your MFR business, I want to help you change that. Make sure you tune into the show and get on my email list so you never miss out on important trainings and information. To be the first to find out when we are enrolling next for my 12-month Business Foundations coaching program, get on that email list at www.themfrcoach.com/join. Inside this program, you'll learn how to raise your rate, overcome objections, and sell MFR. You'll become the MFR therapist that never under-earns and never burns out. It's up to us to make MFR mainstream, and it starts with you and your successful MFR practice. See you next week.